Beaver Creek is known for so many of the wonderful things that you can do up here. It is a luxury resort. A hidden gem of Beaver Creek, though, is the C. Anthony Gallery. They represent up to 40 artists, and I'm standing here with one of their top artists, James Jensen. James, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Absolutely. Good to be here again.
I love that you're here, only because your work is absolutely fascinating, and your story to your work is fascinating.
They are storytelling pieces. It's true. Each one, they're powerful pieces, but they do take you in, and each one has somewhat of a journey unto itself.
And you have some immense training that you have gone through to get to where you are now. So let's talk a little bit about your history, and then let's talk about what has cultivated these new pieces of yours.
Well, I have to first give credit to Vail Valley and this gallery, because it's been a long time. I was a young artist when I was starting with this gallery family, and that's a leap of faith on their end. So it really goes to show when a gallery gives you the permission to be adventurous and an adventurer in your art, you're in the right place. So I have to preface it by saying Vail Valley gets it, and this gallery has been my support for years. And that leads us to this collection, which is kind of ongoing. My work, I'm restless. So the people who have collected the work, they keep coming back because maybe that new look is new to them also.
Which is amazing. And as you and I have been talking, we've been going through some of the incredible detailing in the pieces. Now, we do want to mention that people can come up here. They can meet you.
Yeah.
They can spend some time. They can pick your brain, which is one of the most fascinating things that anyone can do. As James and I have been walking around, and I've been asking him all sorts of questions about all of these incredible pieces. So people can come up here from 4 to 8 p.m. and spend some time with you.
Absolutely. The paintings do invite a response. They confront you. And what I want to have happen is for people to stop. A painting should ask you to stop and have some kind of a reaction. That's what we want. It could be shocking. It can be that it's so beautiful, but we want people to have a moment of involvement with each painting. And I think that can happen with these paintings. They really draw you in. There's a sense of depth. There's a sense of fortitude. There's some beautiful, delicate areas that just linger. So the storytelling part goes on and on from when you first witness and then when you're drawn in.
Which we've got an incredible piece behind us right now. And so let's talk just a little bit about it, only because you are an expert in realism. Your training is in realism.
It's a good start for an artist. I would always suggest that to an up-and-coming artist. Don't overlook that stage of learning. That's when you learn the science of paint, the weight of compositions, what things battle each other, what things become harmonious. So to be honest, I keep that psychology into these contemporary paintings. They literally have a background, a foreground, and points of priority. For instance, this painting called The Riddle, because it leaves you, I would imagine, asking questions when you see it. What's going on here? What was the artist thinking? And sometimes those are unanswered questions, but what is happening is this. You can see the joy of paint being applied. There's a joyfulness of paint. And then there's an aggressive part too. That's a part of me is to be aggressive with painting, create some chaos, and then let some areas of repose happen. And then the composition comes in, and here I have a piece of realism in an incongruent way, but it's part of why we call this painting The Riddle.
Right. It leaves people wondering. It makes people kind of question the art. Now, you've got some new pieces that have just been brought up to the gallery. So let's talk a little bit about those pieces and what was going through your brain as you brought these ones to life.
Okay. Shall I just mention them by name?
Yes.
A painting called Midnight and a Partner Piece Mystery are new pieces. And they're a study in depth, like a disappearing act, where the paintings are literally, with some clever skills, disappearing into this darkness right before your eyes. And they have an impact. They're strong. They've got a beautiful finish on them. And that really is the message there, this painting with a lot of fortitude and then this diminishing quality that it has.
Which is so unique, and such a powerful emotion can be evoked throughout your paintings.
That is the word for it. It should elicit emotion first. People react differently to colors and in my case, the fortitude of the paintings, but it should hit there first, emotionally.
Which I think is so important. And then you use these very architectural compounds throughout your pieces
Yes.
that also leave people in this state of curiosity. So let's talk a little bit about that.
There's a few reasons for that. It's kind of my signature, but early in my career, I was just fascinated by architecture. A very simple part of this answer is my love of structure and foundation. I thought, well, how can I bring that into my paintings? They're so chaotic. So I just did it. And it kind of fastens it all together. You get this wild ride of the chaotic part of the painting, and then this kind of rigid structure that brings it all together. I think they vibrate off each other really in a cool way.
I think they do too, because that structure then captivates you into a whole different dynamic of the painting.
Yeah, it does. People ask me, when do you stop? There is a lot going on in these paintings. And that's when you have to trust your own sense of editing, your own sense of composition. A painting can get away from you, and you have to keep your intent, what's in your creative mind's eye, which is what I rely on. And then you trust your skills to see it to the end.
But your skills are very vast, as we've been talking. You're a master of color harmony, so you know when the composition of the colors, bringing in the gold, bringing in a little more texture and definition to the pieces is really going to make that piece captivate the individual who gets to look at it.
Agreed. And that still comes from my training as a classic artist. I still use what we call an old master color palette, which is very warm and welcoming. So I want there to be, other than just strong paintings, there should be beauty and delicate areas you can linger in. That's what keeps it from just being a one note, hitting you over the head kind of painting. There's beauty in there, there's delicacy. And that makes it livable, and it tells a story. Whatever you feel with these paintings at first glance, it's going to keep delivering that magic throughout its whole career in your house.
Its career in your house. I love that. Now, we've got some fabulous pieces around us that have this very cool ribbon pattern in them that brings the piece to life with almost movement throughout it. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration behind the ribbon.
That's exactly the word. It's almost a snapshot of something in motion that's caught for just a second. And once again, there's a graphic element, structural. It might not be so linear, but I'm using that to create depth. And if you look closely at those, the weaving is another trick of the artistry, where you have things disappearing and then coming back at you. And that's the ribbons. It's convoluted. It just weaves upon itself.
Which is such a unique element to these very vibrant pieces that you have created for people to enjoy. Now, people can come up here to the C. Anthony Gallery. They can have the opportunity to pick your brain. You'll be here from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
I will, yes, today and tomorrow.
Which is amazing. So make sure that you make your way up to the C. Anthony Gallery. It's located right here in the Artist Promenade by the ice skating rink in Beaver Creek. You're not going to want to miss the opportunity to talk to James Jensen.
Good morning, Vail.